Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Selig. In today's video, I want to talk about health and how to create invincible health. So wherever you're at in your healing journey, if you're at a low level of health, fighting a chronic disease or dealing with chronic pain, our goal is to take you to the next level. And as we do that, you're going to go on a healing journey. So we have to understand what are some of the basic foundations and principles of healing and health. So what does it mean to be healthy? Health, what is required to be healthy, and can you truly return to health? Health is really an optimal state of well-being, not just the mere absence of disease. Health is truly wealth. It's physical health, emotional health, spiritual health. And so all these components is what makes us healthy. And we're going to talk about how to get healthy and what are some of the more important concepts and foundations on how to get healthy. Our health system is really a misnomer. It should be called disease care, sick care, because it certainly isn't health care. Our system focuses on symptoms, and it's pharmaceutically driven. It's a reactive approach. And my analogy always is when you're driving in your car and that red light shows up on the dashboard, that's your warning signal. So you know something is gone amiss in your car. You take it to the mechanic. The mechanic opens up the hood to look inside to fix what's gone wrong. But what would you do if the mechanic just took the red light and took it out? He would take away the symptom, but deep down inside, you know nothing's been fixed. This is how we've been dealing with all our chronic conditions. So we have to really get a deeper understanding on what it means to heal. So the first thing we have to understand is inflammation. Inflammation is the hallmark of every acute and chronic disease. So really coming to grips with what is inflammation, knowing the difference between acute inflammation, chronic inflammation, how do we fight the things that are causing inflammation? So we have to understand what really is causing inflammation, and how does a patient know that they're inflamed? The very basic stuff of inflammation, when you're experiencing gas and bloating, belching, burning skin, bags under the eyes, those dark circles, when you have itchy ears, itchy eyes, diarrhea, constipation, the joint pains, the muscle aches, the memory problems, the fatigue, the dry skin, the itchy skin, the runny nose, the chronic coughs and the reoccurring coughs, the fevers, the chills, the headaches. Those are all some of the basic signs that you're inflamed. So inflammation is really the house is on fire, and when the house is on fire, this chronic inflammation will eventually lead to the more insidious diseases that we call our autoimmune diseases, our real debilitating arthritic diseases, our cancers, and all the things that we don't want. So if we address the inflammation at its root, then we have a fighting chance of really getting healthy. So we have to understand what this inflammation is and how do we combat the inflammation and what strategies we take to get healthy to dealing with inflammation. So some of the causes of chronic inflammation, you know, we have to look at the poor dietary choices that we're making. We have to understand that our gut health is absolutely huge in this picture, the food allergies, the chronic infections. If we don't deal with these chronic infections, the bacterial infections, the viral infections, the fungal infections, we'll never get healthy. So we have to really understand what these chronic infections are and how do we deal with them. We have to understand how stress and exhaustion is really destroying our immune system, causing inflammation in our body, and our sedentary lifestyle, our lazy lifestyle, our bad habits are all causing inflammation. So there's many things that cause chronic inflammation, but these are just some of the basic things that we have to come to grips with if we are to get healthy. So again, it's that poor gut flora, you know, so we have the terrain in our, and you know, from mouth to anus, that terrain, that gut flora is absolutely huge, so we have to get those probiotics. We've all been inundated with the antibiotics, anti-against, bio-life, the things that destroy life. Now we want to build it up with things that are for life, so we want those probots in us, those great probiotics. We want to find those hidden gut infections. We got to deal with that blood sugar problem. We have to really understand what are the inflammatory foods, you know, and those are most of the grains and the sugars and the bad carbohydrates, the bad fats. We also have tissue injury causes inflammation, and low hydrochloric acid will be a primary cause of some of our gut problems in having inflammation. So other big causes of inflammation, the essential fatty acids, those essential fatty acids, that's your DHA, your EPAs, your ALAs, that cell membrane is cholesterol and fat. And if your cells, and what are we? We're cells, we're trillions and zillions of cells coming together to make organs, organs come together to make organ systems, and organ systems, we're made up of the 12 organ systems. So it starts with the cell. So understanding that cell membrane with the essential fatty acids is huge, because that will allow things to come in and out of the cell when you have good essential fatty acids on the cell membrane. Again, if we don't deal with this blood sugar problem, the hyperglycemias, the metabolic syndromes, the insulin resistance, that will cause a wave of inflammation more than anything that I can think of. So our blood sugar needs to be in that healthy range between 80 and 100, and anything over 100 will cause the free radical oxidative stress and will cause inflammation. All our diseases, the autoimmune diseases, the allergies, the PMS, the hormonal disbalances, are other major causes of inflammation. Those muscular pains, and as a chiropractor I see tons of muscular aches and pains, and those chronic aches and pains, that's chronic inflammation. The joint misalignments, when our neck and low back and all of our joints aren't in alignment, when we have misalignment, that causes inflammation, and that inflammation is the hallmark of why our joints are breaking down, causing all our degenerative joint diseases. So we must diagnose and manage the cause of inflammation if we are to truly get healthy. So it's not about suppressing the inflammation with all the NSAIDs and over-the-counter medications and prescribed medications, because there's a price to pay for taking those things. We have to really get to the root cause of what's causing our inflammation. So part of our healing strategy is identifying and managing the causes of inflammation, not just taking the symptom away. Another key factor in getting healthy is proper digestion. I have gone over this till I'm blue in the face on how important proper digestion is, because the food that we're eating, if it's not absorbed, the energy won't get into the cell, and we need that energy into the cell if we want to have cellular health, and we'll go a little bit more into that. Right now we're going to look at how important the gut is, because we know that 70 to 80% of our immune system is in our gut. We have our immune cells made from the thymus, made from the spleen, made from the bones, but the ultimate gut function is in the gut. And so we have to really get up to speed to understand how important our immune function is regarding the gut. 20 to 30% is in the skin, so it's in the skin, lungs, and mucous membrane. So we have to have strategies for the skin and for the lungs. Are we doing the dry skin brushing? Are we doing the infrared saunas? Are we sweating? Are we doing our breathing exercises? Have we been doing the yogic breath, the diaphragmatic breathing, the qigong breathing, the belly breathing? All the breathing exercises are amazing, because we have to understand how important the breath is in getting healthy. We have to understand how the brain-gut connection plays a part in all of this. So understanding the importance of our gut function and the immune system are so interrelated, and we have to tie that together to get a better understanding of health. We have to also understand this low hydrochloric acid. When we're deficient in hydrochloric acid, we're not going to assimilate the minerals, the vitamins, the proteins. We're not going to be able to methylate properly. The hydrochloric acid is what makes our macrophages aggressive. When we have aggressive macrophages, we're going to clean up the intracellular fluid so we're not filled with all the debris and the heavy metals and the viruses and the bacteria. So hydrochloric acid is one of the key strategies in getting healthy, and that's part of that gut function. We also need the liver and the gallbladder functioning properly, and the pancreas. And the pancreas is a dual organ. It's an exocrine gland and an endocrine gland. And so we have to understand how all of these have to be working beautifully together for ultimate health. And we'll go a little bit more into the liver gallbladder. So we have to come back to that brain-gut connection, which I keep going over and over because it's so important, and I'm going to keep talking about it until we get this, because this is the key to really getting healthy. Proper cellular uptake of nutrients. I call this cell energy. We are energy. We need energy. We need that ATP to make us, to do everything that we need to do. And so when we're eating the proteins, the fats, the carbs, they have to be broken down to the amino acids, the fatty acids, the glucose. We need the vitamins, the minerals, and we also need the tissue salts. Those 12 tissue salts are essential for helping the mineral grid to reestablish itself. We also have to understand how insulin is a major player, and our pH. You can't be too acidic, you can't be too alkaline, so we have to have a balance in the pH for us to really uptake all the nutrients into the cell. Now, once we get inside the cell, when we're talking about cell energy, that cell energy is really the key to health. So this mitochondria, where your ATP is made, that mitochondria is an alien thing. If you did the genetic code on that, the DNA, it's not part of us. It's actually like what a probiotic is. It's an alien thing that has come into us a zillion years ago and is part of our system. But this mitochondria is where our energy is produced in the cell. And so when we're making energy, we take the blood sugar, or we eat the carbohydrates that is going to give us broken down to the glucose. That glucose has to be converted into something. That something is the pyruvate. That pyruvate is going to be converted into acetyl-CoA. That acetyl-CoA, you don't see it here, but it has to get into the cell. And once it gets into the cell, Dr. Krebs, who discovered the Krebs cycle, who won the Nobel Prize for this, this is where that acetyl-CoA goes to the Krebs cycle to produce ATP. It also gives off the NADH and the FADH, and then this is going to go through the electron transport system to give us more ATP. And once we produce this ATP, this is where, that's the money, that's the currency that drives everything. And this is this whole ATP Krebs cycle electron transport chain, and here you see the hydrogens and the electrons. The hydrogens are the boys, the electrons are the girls. Between these two energies, it's going to create an electrical charge. That electrical charge, when those boys rush to the girls, it creates this energy that we call ATP. This ATP is what you need to repair your cell, to heal your cancer, to heal your bones, to grow your hair, to digest your food. So this ATP is the driving force that we have to understand if we are to get healthy, because we have to understand what's influencing the ATP, what foods we're eating, how our intracellular fluids are influenced by the ATP. So this is why it's important that we understand cell energy, because you need energy to heal. And when you're chronically fatigued, you know that your energy is low, so you know something is going on. What's the #1 complaint in our country? Chronically fatigued. We're going to bed tired, we're awakening tired, so we're always tired because we're not really producing the energy that we need. So this, not to get too much into the biochemistry, but to keep it very simple, to understand that to make energy, you need the right nutrients, you need the right foods, you need the right intracellular fluids so your cells can really get healthy. So inside the cell, we have, again, the mitochondria. It requires the vitamins, the nutrients. Are you deficient in these nutrients? And in this intracellular fluid, so if the intracellular fluid is polluted with heavy metals, with viruses, with bacteria, with petrochemicals, with all this garbage, how can you get healthy if the intracellular fluids are toxic? And so our cells have to take the nutrients out of that intracellular fluid, and then it deposits its waste products into that intracellular fluid. And if we don't understand how the lymphatic system is connected to the intracellular fluids, and so we have to really focus on the detoxification to get this intracellular, extracellular fluid matrix a lot more flowing so the cells can truly get the nutrients they need to be healthy. So all this byproducts of metabolism causes a lot of oxidative stress. When this oxidative stress is out of hand, this is what will lead to our diseases, our cancer, our autoimmune diseases, our crippling arthritis. And so we really have to come to grips with this cell energy, and glutathione is the master antioxidant, but it's not just glutathione. It's lipoic acid, it's vitamin A, it's vitamin C, it's CoQ10, it's ubiquinol. All these things help to quench the free radicals as a result of producing oxidative stress. And so here we have a cell membrane, and in the cell membrane lives your vitamin C, your vitamin A, your lipoic acid, your glutathione, your CoQ10, and these are going to quench and sequester these free radicals, because those free radicals, they're unpaired electrons, and when they pair up, you stabilize them so they're not wreaking havoc on the cell, breaking down and destroying the cell. So this is the importance of antioxidants into our diets, as nutrient supplements, so we can really deal with this oxidative stress problem. And then we have to understand really the keys to getting healthy. We have to understand the portals of exit. How do we get proper elimination? And so again, as we eat, our cells are going to produce metabolic waste products, and if we don't get these metabolic waste products out of the body, we're going to get backed up, and then we're going to cause liver stagnation. Our biliary system will be clogged, and if we can't get the toxins out, that's when we run into some real trouble, which is leading to so many problems in our health. So we got to really come to grips with how to open up all the channels of elimination. And we're going to talk about the liver phase 1, phase 2 detoxification. This is where we get into methylation, glucuronidation, sulfonation, glutathione conjugation. But as we do that in phase 1, phase 2 liver detox, if the biliary ducts aren't open, you're not going to get the junk out. This is where we come in with the coffee enemas, the gallbladder flushes, so we can keep the portals open to remove all this toxin, whether it's exogenous toxins, endogenous toxins from the outside world and from the inside, what we're creating. We have to make sure that the kidneys are filtering, that they're dealing with this acid chemistry, that they're dealing with the oxalates, the phosphates, the urates, so we're properly eliminating. The lungs, and we talked about the lungs, how we have to be breathing properly. We have to be able to relax the diaphragm so we can really get the oxygen into the body so we can heal the body. And again, we talked about the skin. Keeping the skin is your third kidney. And when we keep the skin healthy through sweating and skin brushing, through putting the good oils on our skin, then we can really have a first line of defense against evading microbes that are integral part of keeping us healthy. And again, you got to have gut motility. If you're not, going to the bathroom on a regular basis, and so we really have to, in this country, we're constipated. You should be going to the bathroom 2 big bowel movements a day, and if you're not there, you're constipated. So we have to really work on gut motility and elimination and real being able to go to the bathroom and not be constipated. And exercise to move the lymphatic system, because the lymph is like all this extracellular fluid is dumping into the lymph. If the lymph is toxic, you're not going to get the stuff out. So exercise is a key component of moving the lymph. And in the lymph, that's where you have the macrophages, and the macrophages are cleaning up all the debris, the heavy metals, the viruses, the bacteria. And so the exercise is a great part of helping to move that lymph. So proper elimination, keeping the channels of elimination open is so key in getting healthy. And we got to have proper brain function. As a man thinketh, so he is. So this brain, right now, everyone has the foggy brain. We're losing we're becoming a culture that is filled with senility and Alzheimer's and dementias. And so we have to understand, what does the brain need? It needs oxygen and glucose. Glucose between 80 and 100. If glucose is too high, you're going to saturate your body, and that's going to cause free radical damage. If we're not breathing properly, we're not going to be oxygenating our brain. So we got to understand how important the brain is in getting healthy. And part of the brain in the nervous system is the autonomic nervous system, the parasympathetic and the sympathetic. We know the sympathetic is that fight or flight. That parasympathetic is the stay and play, the rest and digest, the breed and feed. We should be more in that parasympathetic mode, but we're more in the sympathetic. We're always that fight or flight, causing the cortisol and the adrenaline and all that to keep us in that sympathetic dominance. And if we're in sympathetic dominance, we're not going to heal. So we have to understand how to get more into a parasympathetic mode. So really, this is done by our upper brain, our frontal lobes, and our basal ganglia. And when these areas fatigue, we lose our brake pedal. We can't put out this sympathetic fire. And so we have to really come back to getting ourselves into that parasympathetic mode, because 70% of the brain is a brake pedal. It's slowing things down. It's getting us more into that parasympathetic mode. And so really understanding, what does it break? The autonomic nervous system, the bodily functions we don't have to think about, that limbic brain, that emotional brain. High-flying sympathetics, that's our migraine headaches, that's our chronic pain, our fibromyalgias, it's our insomnias, it's our dry eyes, our mouth, it's our decrease in digestive enzymes, it's a decrease in our hydrochloric acid, because that vagus nerve, coming from that brainstem, that's innervating, that's connecting to every organ in our gut. And so we have to really understand how to get out of this sympathetic dominance. So any of these things, the constipation, the acid reflux, the cold hands and feet, the increased sweating and urination, the high blood pressure, the vertigo, the balance disorders, is when you're in sympathetic dominance. So the brain can be changed. It needs fuel and it needs activation. And this is the metabolic neurological care that I like to give to my patients, so we can get them out of this sympathetic dominance into that parasympathetic mode, so we can really start to heal. One of the key components of really getting us into that parasympathetic mode is sleep. We have to be able to get 6 to 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep, and that's going to reset the hormonal clock, that's going to reset the blood sugar levels, and it's going to balance out that parasympathetic sympathetic nervous system. So this is why sleep is one of those basic fundamentals, and again, we have to really look at this and take it to a deeper level to understand that we're not really sleeping, we're burning the candle, and when we're burning the candle from both ends, we're depleting our cell energy, and you'll never recover from all the chronic diseases that are plaguing us. So ask yourself the following questions. Do I truly believe I can get healthy? Do I deserve to be healthy? And do I care enough about myself to make the necessary changes to be healthy? Because we're not doing a good job. If you look around, you see most people are suffering from so many chronic diseases, and I guarantee everyone knows someone that has cancer, that has heart disease, that has an autoimmune condition, that is suffering with this or that. So it's so common in our culture, so we have to understand if we really want to get healthy, we got to make the changes. We have to reprogram our subconscious mind first and foremost. So we need to have our daily affirmations. We have to start really truly believe it, conceive it, you'll achieve it. So every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. So it's not just saying that, it's saying it with a conviction that you actually believe that you're getting healthier, that you're going to be able to get off the couch and move your body, that you're going to make better food choices, that you're going to make going to the bathroom a priority, that you're going to make eating healthy a priority, that you're going to have the courage to deal with your addictions, whether it's alcohol, cigarettes, drugs, whatever it may be. You have to be able to reset your subconscious mind so you can have the courage to go on your healing journey. And when you go on that healing journey, you will see how much better you will feel, and it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight, although the changes happen pretty profoundly, pretty quick, but true healing is just that. It's a journey. And so we're here to really educate people on the basics of nutrition, the basics of cell energy, the basics of what's causing our inflammation. And in doing this, my goal as a doctor is to teach my patients and to educate them on the doctrines of healing. That's the true definition of what a doctor is. It's an educator, it's a teacher. So I have to show people where they're not in harmony to the laws of natural laws of healing. And so if we're not abiding by the natural laws, we're going to be plagued with this chronicity that is crippling us. So visualization can change your brain. You have to, again, conceive it, believe it, and you will achieve it. So again, coming to me, we're going to look at some of the markers of inflammation. We're going to really assess the digestion. We're going to make sure that we're getting that brain firing. I will teach my patients certain brain exercises to balance out the hemispheres, to really start focusing on getting healthy, because that's what it's all about. It's not fixing my arthritis or fixing my cancer. It's about getting healthy because it's all connected. And that's really what I wanted to bring home today, was to show how to get healthy the old-fashioned way, and in doing so, realize it takes courage to go on this journey, but once we go on this journey, we'll never look back, because when you start to feel good, you look good, your energy is good, libido comes back, the weight comes off, you just feel like $1 million. And you get that oomph in your step, you have more vitality, longevity, and better awareness, better happiness. So all these things come with health. This is why I truly say health is wealth. And that was my message for today. And again, thank you for watching.